So one thing I'm trying to do as I'm traveling around and visiting some more, some mainstream and some off the beaten path kinds of places, is to stop and see those little places that if you blink you'll miss them. And this is one of those. This is called the Sundale site, or Sundale Park. And like I said, if I wouldn't have been paying close enough attention, I would have missed it. And it's easy to make an excuse and think, gosh, I've got to be somewhere at some time. Well, you know what? I don't have to be anywhere anytime. So we're going to take a look and see what Sundale site is all about, because sometimes these little places are just absolute hidden treasures. So at the end of the road, this is what I found. A really neat little hidden gem of a park that probably nobody knows about. Boat launch, facilities, and some really neat picnic tables. Very secluded, and really be a great place to stop and just spend an afternoon right on the water. But there is one thing that I noticed that if I wouldn't have been paying attention was something that I just didn't expect to find here. So we're going to go take a look at that right now. Just beyond the gate here, we have a cemetery. What are the chances of that? That's something I never would have thought I would find out here in a little place like this, so that's why it always pays to stop. It looks like the gate is unlocked, so let's go in and just have ourselves a quick look, and we'll see what type of history this cemetery may store for us. As you can see, there's a grape vineyard here. A lot of grapes are grown here in the gorge. Climate's really good for it during the summer. During the winters, not so much. All right, this is a very small cemetery, maybe of 1/4 of an acre, and I can tell by looking, there's only about 4 monuments or markers here. So this is a small place. Probably just a little farm cemetery. But what I can tell by looking at these markers and monuments is that they're going to be probably late 1800s or early 1900s. Small monument here has some pretty neat artwork on the front that you can see barely. In pretty good shape, considering that the gentleman who is buried here was born in 1829 and passed away in 1902. So I kind of figured by looking at these monuments and markers that that was about what era they were. There's another marker here. Looks like this person here passed away in April of 1894. So that's just a few years ago. There's one more marker or monument over here. We're going to go take a look at that next. This is a really fine example of a nice monument. As you can see, Miss Smith here was born in 1879 and she passed away in 1905. As you'll notice, there are 2 hands on the top of the monument, one of them on the right and one of them on the left. The one on the right is taking the hand on the left. And one thing I did learn, being that I have been a funeral director and a cemetery manager for over 18 years now, is that there's a lot of symbolism in these markers and monuments, especially old Victorian era monuments like this. So you'll notice that the cuff on the right hand, on the right side of this, is a bit more masculine looking, and the cuff on the left is a bit more feminine looking. Generally, that means that the husband has passed away before the wife, and now that she's passed away, he's coming down to take her hand and guide her spirit up into heaven. So one really neat thing about Victorian era markers and monuments is there's lots of symbolism, and it's just something I learned after being in the business for so many years. So anyway, so glad that I took the time to stop and follow the path that was less taken, because today it really paid off. So once again, thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.